What do you say, everybody? We're waiting on Coach Nick Saban to have his final press conference to the media before Alabama takes on Georgia. Number 8, Alabama. Come on. Against number 1, Georgia, 3 o'clock Central Time in the Dome in Atlanta for the SEC Championship game coming up on Saturday. Welcome to the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. If you're not part of what we're doing here, we want you to be. Like and subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and let's talk some Alabama football as we get set for a huge game on Saturday. All right, there he is, Chad Anderson. Mr. Anderson, I'm Mick Gillispie. Welcome to the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. And we're waiting on Coach Nick Saban. He's going to come up here in a few minutes, Chad, and he's basically going to say what?
I hope he's as grumpy as I am. And I don't know, Mick. I was watching, we did the show last night, and we watched the rankings come out. And the more I stay on Twitter all day, the more pissed off I get. Like I keep reading stuff and I hear other people talk. I heard Kirk Herbstreit today drop an F-bomb for the first time ever.
Really?
In my life. Yeah.
Over what?
Yeah, on Twitter. Because he talked about it's supposed to be, and it always has been, you pick the 4 best teams. And he went on this rant about how he says, we're not supposed to do what's right. We're not supposed to do what's fair. We're not supposed to do what you think you should do on paper. You're supposed to pick the 4 best teams. And he just, he dropped a couple of bombs on the video.
So is he saying Alabama is one of the 4 best teams?
He just didn't like, I think his biggest hang up right now is Florida State. I think he's picking on Florida State.
Right, because they're not one of the 4 best teams.
And that's his thing. He's like, look, breaks just don't go your way sometimes. And he's saying, like, you can't claim you're one of the 4 best teams in college football when your star quarterback, who was a Heisman Trophy candidate, is on the shelf. And it sucks. It really sucks. But this isn't like a game managing quarterback who would just hand off to a running back or 2 running backs that combine for 200 yards every game. This is a Heisman Trophy quarterback that you can't just replace. This is an obvious missing piece and component to the Florida State team. I think that's what he's trying to say. And he's just like, look, you take Florida State's quarterback away. They're not one of the 4 best teams in the country. And he has been saying, you're telling me that Alabama or Georgia or both could be left out of the college football playoff? Because he's saying Alabama wins, you're going to leave them out. But then he's also saying, wait, Georgia loses 1 game and everything they've done all year long, and as impressive as they've looked all year long, you're telling me, like, I think he's looking at it and saying Georgia and Florida State, right? Like Florida State wins, Georgia loses. And he's going, you're going to put Florida State in this game, but you're going to leave Georgia out?
Yeah.
And he's got a point. Like, you really think Georgia wouldn't smoke Florida State?
Oh, I know. Come on, I know.
Right, but he was fired up today, man.
I'm glad. I love to hear that. I saw him at Innisfree Bar years ago, and I realized that he had an aura around him.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I walked in, and it was the old Innisfree. That's how long ago it was. Not the one where it is now, but the one where the gray lady is.
Yeah,
the OG. And I was like, oh man, there he is. And not only was he there, but he had this aura surrounding him. What is that?
Well, I do hope, going back to Saban, I hope we get an update today on Jace and kind of how he's done this week and whatever, his availability is going to be for Saturday.
Yeah.
Curious to see what that is, or if it's going to be, the next question is, do you start, if Jace is out this week, do you start Roydell or do you start Jam?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it really just you play them both.
Depends on the down and the back and the situation and whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so interesting there. But I'm curious to see what his mood is. again,
Do you prefer grumpy Saban, or you want grumpy Saban, angry Saban, as we call him?
Love it. I want a lecture, because again, the most perfect recipe ever for a Nick Saban football team is to squeak one out against a lesser opponent, which is exactly what happened, to get you ready for the big opponent.
Right.
Like, you don't want to squeak them out, but if it happens, it just makes the team that much more dangerous. Plus, Mick, the fact that the line opened up at what, 3.5, 4?
Yeah.
And it's now 6.5. Come on.
Oh,
That's great.
yeah. Rat poison, right?
That's great, man. It's
well,
great.
We can't stop McConkey and the tight end Bowers. I mean, come on, man. Our defense against them, there's no chance.
No
right?
chance. Zero. Zero. Yeah. What are we showing up for, Mick?
I know, wasting our time.
What are we even showing up?
Crown them, crown them.
Makes no sense.
Isn't that what Denny Green said? Crown them, crown them.
Let's just save all our money. Let's not go to Atlanta. Let's get a refund on the tickets. Let's not even worry about it.
Who was he talking about when he was at that angry? Do you remember? Denny
Which
Green?
one was that?
When he was like, they are who we thought they were.
Dennis
you want
Green?
to crown? Yeah, Dennis Green. Yeah. You want to crown them? Crown them. But we had him and we let him off the hook.
He was the Cardinals coach at the time.
Yeah, he was the Cardinals coach. I want to say it was the Bears, but I don't think it was.
I don't remember. That was before my time. Remember, I just look old. I'm not old. I just look old.
Was that long ago?
It's been a while, man.
Oh man.
I can give you some quick. This is good news for Alabama. So
okay.
If you're talking about the line and the movement and all this stuff, when the line moves, there's this thing called reverse line movement. So what that means is, let's say Georgia opened up, according to Vegas Insider, which is what I'm on here, Georgia opened up as a 4.5 point favorite against Alabama. It's moved to 6.5. Well, what the reverse line movement, what that means is that if people are betting Alabama and the line continues to go in Georgia's favor, that's called reverse line movement. Like, if it opens at 4.5 and people bet Alabama to cover 4.5, well, then that line should get smaller and smaller so that Vegas balances out the sides that they're on. So more money comes in on Bama, it should go down to Bama +4 and Bama +3 and Bama +2 to try to get more people to take Georgia to balance it out. Well, Mick, I can tell you, this is as of now, most money is wagered by the end of the week and on Saturday. Saturday is where you get, obviously, your biggest wagering. But as of right now, almost 2/3 of the money are being bet on Georgia to cover the spread. That's why it's up to 6.5. And I love it, because guess who's generally wrong? The public.
Right. The general public, right?
The public. So I love the fact 2/3 of the betting public right now is on Georgia. That's a good thing for Alabama. Love it. Lank, right?
Yeah.
Let all naysayers know. Lank. I love it.
Is that what that means?
Yeah. Lank. Let all naysayers know.
How about that?
That was a preseason thing. I think Milroe came up with that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's his deal. So we'll see with Saban. I mean, maybe he's not. Maybe he's in a good mood. I don't know. But I would imagine Nick's going to be pretty. You're probably going to see. I would actually think maybe even keel Saban. I don't know. Do they go to Atlanta tomorrow, or is it Friday? Because when you have the SEC title, I think you have like Friday media days where you have the extra day. Like, it's not a normal travel weekend where you fly Friday, go to your hotel, and then, walk through maybe Friday afternoon or night, and then Saturday's the day. But they may actually go over tomorrow, because Friday may be a media day.
Right. So, yeah. What do you think? What would you do?
Oh, I always go early. I just get away. I don't know. I think if I'm a coach, I think Saban's this way too. you get your team in a controlled bubble, which is, you got them locked down in a hotel in Atlanta. You're
Right.
basically treating it like COVID. You're like, hey guys, you're in the hotel. You're not leaving the hotel. You're going nowhere. This is our business. This is what we're doing. This is the schedule. Everybody's together as a group. You don't have to worry about anything. That's what I would do or what I prefer. But I mean, Saban's a tad better at it than what I would be or what I am. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting just kind of like when you think about this matchup and kind of where we are right now with these two programs. Alabama was always the team that was in the spot that Georgia's in, where everyone's kind of praising them, and then there's no chance that they could lose. And then, Alabama was kind of that school, and then now you look at it and it's like no one's given Alabama a chance to get into the playoff or to win this football game, and they think that Georgia's invincible.
yeah. What's crazy is nobody gives Alabama a chance, but it's the second closest line this weekend of the big games.
Right, but you would think it was like a 30-point line.
That's what I mean. Yeah, nobody's really giving the outside media is not really giving Alabama much of a chance. This is something that did come up today. I want to throw this up on the screen for us.
Throw it up.
And I think he meant shot, but but maybe he meant deuce as well. But I think Brock here meant shot instead of the other. But I think that's what happened. So yeah, David Pollock today was talking about Kirby and Saban in this game and the championship, and he said, I think it's pretty clear Kirby's the better coach. And I'm just like, what are you talking about, man? Kirby's won one game against Saban. One.
I know.
Like,
I love it though,
game.
man. They're always kind of, at that point where they're trying to take shots at Nick Saban in Alabama,
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody can ever wait more than the way it is now, especially when you're a Nick Saban-esque. It's kind of like Bill Belichick. They can't wait to take shots. Like, it's funny too, because it's with every team. And this was really, you got to admit, Bama has been beaten here and there, maybe a tad more than what we're used to, which is insane to say because Alabama's only lost 5 games in 3 years and 3 of them were walk-offs. One of them was in a national championship. But, I just remember this 2 games specifically, and they both happened to be in Dallas at Jerry World. And it was 2012, Alabama, Michigan to open the year. Remember Denard Robinson?
Yeah.
And Brady Hoke. So I'll never forget walking out of that stadium. Alabama just dismantled Michigan in that game. I think it was like 41-14 or something. We're leaving the game. We're walking back towards our car or to get an Uber or something, go back to the hotel. And I just remember these 2 Michigan fans being behind me and walking, and they're just kind of talking. And they were fired up before the game. Like this was their year. They were going to do it. I think they were coming off like a Sugar Bowl win against Virginia Tech or something. And this was going to be it for them. They were going to make their claim. And these guys were so dumbfounded. Mick, they're literally talking to each other, and it's like therapy going on while they walk. And one of them finally says, I don't know if they're just that good and that fast, or if maybe we're just average, or maybe they're freaks. Like, they were trying to figure it out. Like, are they really just that
Could
much
they be
better
that
than
good?
everyone?
Yeah.
Are they that good, or are we not that good? And it's like, no, man, everybody goes through this. And that's kind of where Georgia is too, right there. Georgia and Alabama. Alabama's lost a little bit of that though recently. They don't strike the same fear that they did 5, 6, 7 years ago. You still don't want to play them, but Alabama doesn't quite have that they had, a few years ago. And I think about Michigan State's the other one, because Michigan State, they did the same thing in the Cotton Bowl, first round of the playoffs, 2015. Same thing, same venue. They thought, was it Connor Cook was their quarterback back then? They thought they were going to come in and give us a game and play with Alabama. And they were going to be the one. One of them told me at Wild Wings before the game, we're the
You're at Wild
Goliath.
Wings before the game.
Yeah, it's really Jerry World's great, but there's not much around it. Like, it's not a great tailgating setup.
Right.
This guy's like, we're the Goliath killers. That's what he said before the game. He's like, we're the Goliath killers. We're gonna do it today. We're gonna show you why the Big Ten. We're gonna show you Michigan State. Those guys were texting. I would say, I think it was third quarter. A friend of ours was texting us. What was the game in the third quarter? 24-0, 31-0. I think it was after the Cyrus Jones punt return. They're texting us going, "Hey, you guys going to stick around for all 4 quarters?" That's what these teams think and try to do, or try to claim that they're going to be. And it's just like, got to prove it. You got to conquer the king. And I understand Georgia was the last team to beat Alabama in a national championship. I understand that they like broke the little streak that Bama had against them. I understand Kirby was the second assistant after Jimbo to defeat Nick Saban.
Right.
But look, you can't win one game against Alabama and Nick Saban and all of a sudden be the new standard. Like last year's national title, Georgia didn't have to go through Alabama to win it.
No. It was the same thing, though. You could feel the committee working hard to try to keep Alabama out. And it was bullcrap last year, but it's even more bullcrap this year. Yeah. If they beat Georgia. And if they lose, you know what? They don't belong. They can go play in the Sugar Bowl or, who knows what bowl. And honestly, I don't even care right now. Somebody was asking me today, like, if Alabama doesn't get in, what do you think about this? And I'm like, I don't even know what to think because I don't care about that scenario.
Right.
I'll figure that out next week, with you guys. I think we'll all figure that out next week. Right now, what's it matter? It matters like if they beat Georgia, one of those 4 spots belongs to the SEC and it's Alabama's spot. If people want to try to push Georgia in and have 2 teams, that's a different argument. But the team that wins the SEC belongs in. And the fact that Alabama played Texas, second game of the season, everything went Texas's way. They won the football game. Yep. Yeah, it was after Alabama lost the best offensive player and defensive player in the NFL draft last year. Game 2. Yep. Didn't know who their quarterback was. Didn't know what they were doing. And then they figured it out. And you know what happened after that? They started to win.
Yep. Yeah. Look at this guy.
Yeah, look at him. He's running out of the house, and decided he.
That's great, man.
Isn't that awesome?
He's probably showing you how to hook stuff up, right?
He's been watching Vern Troyer videos. He thinks he's Vern. Mini me. So he's my mini me, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I get it.
He heard Saban doing a press conference today, so he was like, "Okay."
Yeah. So since he's not doing one, I mean, does that mean he's extra grumpy?
I don't know. I mean, it's
thrown off by that.
Yeah, it's one of those things like where they, what do you do? I think with him, these are the teams that he's going to catch their attention. I think that this team's going to be ready to go out there and play. They might not win this football game, but it's not going to be because they got blown out. But I'm telling you, if I was putting my money down, I'd put it on Alabama. I love Nick Saban as an underdog. And so many of these guys have tried to write Alabama's obituary. But just like Saturday's game in Jordan-Hare, just when you thought that Alabama was dead, Saban was dead, they were going to chant the F.U. Saban in the crowd. Back they came.
He doesn't die, man. He just doesn't die. Some quick, maybe potential recruiting news here, which we knew this was probably coming. Texas A&M wide receiver Evan Stewart does officially enter the transfer portal.
Right, and they say he's coming to Bama.
Stewart does supposedly have Alabama as his number 1 target. So Stewart So Stuart, I got them too, man. I got yours is just older. Mine's screaming in the background.
The sixth grader. I got a
Yeah.
sixth grader. Not a lot of
So yeah,
respect for dad.
they that'll be huge for next year in Jalen Milroe.
Yeah.
And Julian Sayin coming in probably as a freshman backup. I think we expect Ty Simpson to most likely transfer in the offseason. I don't know really why he wouldn't. There were some other big names though in the portal today. Riley Leonard, the Duke quarterback who got injured
From
in that game
Fairhope,
against Notre Dame.
where I live. Yeah. I
Yeah.
would. He's good, man. He'll
They're
probably
talking-
go to Texas A&M, right?
They're talking Notre Dame or Auburn as possible landing spots for him.
Please no Auburn.
KJ Jefferson also entered the portal today.
Mississippi State, right?
Arkansas.
Well, I know, but I mean, I'm thinking Mississippi State.
Maybe. I didn't see. That could be. I didn't see.
He's from Mississippi. They're going to need a quarterback. But I mean, would you want to go another year and just get run over again, though? I mean, because you could go somewhere that's got a pretty good team.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because with Jeff Lebby, I mean, offensive guru, and who knows? Jefferson obviously wasn't too pumped about the Bobby Petrino offensive coordinator hire.
Well, I think it's, you know what? I don't even think it has to do with that. I think it has to do with just
change of scenery.
Yeah, you've just been there and you've done that, and you know what are you gonna, you're gonna wait it out another year for a half-ass bowl game,
The other is I forget his name, but it's Washington State's quarterback. He was offered $1 million supposedly by 4 different schools to enter into the transfer portal. So
who's that?
Washington State's quarterback.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was, I think, 4th in college football in passing.
Really?
This year. So I know Auburn's one of the teams on his list. Oregon as well, because Bo Nix will be leaving. So Oregon's one, Auburn's another. So yeah, there were a few different options for him, but you imagine $1 million? You get $1 million. Yeah. You imagine if Jake there got $1 million to go somewhere at 20 years old?
James says, is he going to be the future Bama tailgate host? He might be. I don't know. We'd take the $1 million. I'd be like, take the $1 million.
Yeah. That's right.
I don't know, man. It's crazy to think about. One of Georgia's guys is transferring. One of their defensive guys.
Georgia's is it their D coordinator or is it their defensive backs coach is going to take the head job at Syracuse? I forgot which one, which was kind of interesting on the timing of that because obviously he's got a little bit of a game this week and Syracuse doesn't. Let me look that up real quick because it is somebody from the Georgia staff. I just don't want to mess that up. Fran Brown is the name. It just says Georgia assistant. We'll figure that out here in just a second. But yeah, Fran Brown is the new Bulldogs defensive back coach. Yep. That's really interesting because usually, especially when you're going to a Power 5 head coaching position, you don't see position coaches get head jobs at a Power 5 school. You might see an assistant or a position coach get a head job at a G5,
right,
or an FCS or something. But you don't really ever see a position coach get the head nod for a big job like that. Not saying Syracuse are world beaters, but this one must be pretty special because, Dan Mullen, now whether it was Mullen or Syracuse, but one of them decided that Mullen wasn't going to be the coach there. And that's something because I really thought Dan Mullen would end up as a head coach again. And maybe he will, but I thought he was going to end up as a head coach either there or go back to Mississippi State.
His problem is that he's got the reputation of not wanting to go out and recruit. And, it's like if this is really built around recruiting. I mean, you got to recruit. And now with the transfer portal, it's gotten easier because you can go out and buy players that are ready to go, but you still have to recruit. You still got to have the foundation of guys. I mean, look at Colorado.
Yeah. Yeah. Colorado's interesting too because they've got so many people kind of coming and going. You know, they just lost their tight ends coach. They've had a couple of people decommit who were in their class for 24 and
Their
25.
quarterbacks.
Yeah. So that's going to be interesting. You know, but Coach Prime did a heck of a job at Jackson State, had Colorado more competitive than most people thought this year. So we'll see what happens with some of that.
Yeah. Nobody from Bama, though, has been announced to be transferring yet. Are you surprised by that, or you think it's just because
No, you
it's
won't
so
see it
early?
until next week. I think if Bama loses, you'll see it next week. I think if Bama wins, you probably won't see it until later on. You know, and kind of keep the focus on the championship and whatnot. Because if you're a Bama player and you say, "Hey, I'm hitting the portal," well, guess what? You're not going to the semis and you're not going to the Natty.
Right.
Yeah. So if Bama wins and they get in, you're probably not going to see it. If Bama doesn't make the playoffs, I think that's where you could see some guys who don't expect to get playing time to start entering into the portal. Spencer Radler also declared for the NFL draft today.
Okay. Well, you know what? I mean, we thought he was going to do that last year. The COVID guys that got the extra year, it's just so hard to figure out because some of these dudes have been around forever, like Rattler. I mean, it feels like the guy's in his 8th year, you know?
Yeah.
And he still had another year, which is crazy.
Yep. Yeah. That's the part I was more shocked about. It's the fact that, wait a minute, he opted to go to the NFL draft. He wasn't forced to go to the NFL draft.
Yeah.
That's
How
the
many
part I
years does
didn't
this
quite
guy
grasp.
have?
Yeah.
No, I'm with you on that. Yeah. So Saturday, 3:00, Alabama and Georgia. Not going to get any bulletin board material from Georgia. They're built basically.
Except David Pollock.
Wow. Yeah. But I mean,
remember last year when he told Nick Saban to his face that Georgia was the king of college football now?
Yeah.
It was so awkward because Saban's sitting on the ESPN set at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, which is, by the way, national titles in the state of California should be banned.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's an awful experience.
Except the Rose Bowl. Okay, I'll give the Rose Bowl the pass. There's no reason to go to Santa Clara. There's no reason to go to Inglewood.
I know what you meant. Yeah.
It's stupid, man. It's just stupid. They need to actually, I don't even know how I feel about some of these host venues, you know, like where you start putting them in NFL stadiums. I know you need something like that, but just a lot of the venues just suck.
Right.
You know, that's the problem. It doesn't give you the true college experience, but you know, it's kind of tough. It's double-edged sword there because where else would you play them unless you do it on campuses?
Well, the Rose Bowl is different. I mean, it's one of the best venues in sport. But yeah, I mean, the Bama played in Levi Stadium, and no one even knew there was a game going on.
I got in an Uber after the game, and the guy didn't even know what we were in town for, and he picked us up near the stadium.
Yeah,
it's like, how do you not know, man? But it's just a different world all the way around.
Well, that's coming up. Tailgate show Friday from the floor Bama. 4:45 to 7.
You won't get rowdy at that at all, I bet.
No, I had such a good time last week. We met a guy that is an Elvis impersonator. One of our local friends. All of Barron's family made friends with half of the bar. It was great.
All right. Barron's a good one to do that with, though.
Yeah.
Like I could see that. Barron reminds me a little bit of like a politician at the bar. Like he's the cool guy people want to hang. Like he'll talk to anybody, you know, easy to talk to, good guy, easygoing guy. He makes a lot of friends at those places.
Yeah, he's easy to be friends with.
Yeah.
And it's good to see him and his family. But
Always.
yeah, and then this week, I mean, we do one more big show and then sit back and wait, and we'll do the post-game show here on Saturday, and hopefully we're not talking about how the team didn't win.
What do you think we should do, since we got everybody here, a little over 100 people joining us and a lot of our friends here in the comment section. Bama wins. Should we be doing Mimosa Sunday for the selection show?
Yeah. What time is that selection show?
11
Oh, yeah,
a.m.
definitely. If Bama wins, 11 a.m. we'll do it.
We'll have Mimosa Sunday with you guys. Mine will only be orange juice, but you guys can have the mimosas.
Yeah, that would be a great idea.
Sunday morning. Yeah. You imagine, I was thinking about that with my buddy earlier today, and we talked about that. Bama wins. How unnerving is the next 15 hours? Like all the arguments and comments and just cycles of information and thoughts and opinions that'll go through our head. And it'll just be, it'll be nuts. I remember, do you remember the 2017 selection?
Yeah.
That was Ohio State, who was a 2-loss Big Ten champion.
Mm-hmm.
But one of their losses was to Iowa when they gave up 55 points.
Yeah.
That was Iowa scoring 55 points.
I know, but that was an easy one, though.
I mean, Bama had one loss, but wasn't a conference champion.
And it was like a 3-point loss or something, right?
In 2017, no, that was when Auburn kicked our ass. That was the Iron Bowl that didn't matter. Bama was undefeated, lost to Auburn in the final game of the year. Auburn went to the SEC title game
and lost to LSU.
Georgia.
Oh, Georgia. Yeah.
Because Georgia's who Bama eventually beat in the national championship.
That's right. And Georgia had lost to Auburn earlier in the year.
Yep. Yeah, I think that is right. I think Georgia lost to Auburn in the regular season and then beat them in the SEC title game.
And was forgotten in history.
Yep. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, if there's no upsets, then who knows? Who knows how it's going to turn out?
Yeah. Check out Mark here real quick, because you like to make fun of me. I make fun of myself, but this.
Is he talking about your profile picture?
Yeah, talking about just my headshot picture.
Let's go ahead. It's a good transition right here into this. And obviously it's a different Chad. Look at that. Well, it kind of looks like the same Chad.
It's close. It's close.
It's mortgage Chad.
It's 2.5 years ago, guys. I hate shaving though. I'm not even completely shaved there either, but I hate shaving. It just sucks. But yeah, I get it. Thanks, Mark. Thanks for the Wednesday call out, buddy. You're the man. Appreciate
that. You needed that.
Appreciate it.
What can you tell everyone about Modern Lending?
Started our own company a little over a year ago. We've helped 13 years, me and my team, over 10,000 families. We've been very fortunate and blessed to be able to help that many people. So we appreciate all of them that have trusted us. It's awesome of them to actually do that. Really, right now, guys, I know it may sound crazy. It's a good time to buy a home because home prices are actually a little bit better than they have been. They're not as crazy. When rates go down, home prices are going to skyrocket again. So that's why if you can afford it, been encouraging people buying now is actually better than waiting. You can always refinance later. And actually, if you have credit card debt or something like that too, then hey, it's actually a good time to go ahead and consolidate it. 1 out of every 3 transactions right now is a cash out refi, which people are kind of surprised by, but it's true. So phone number's on the screen. That's my direct cell. You can text it or call it, whatever, anytime, except during the game. I won't answer you. Website's right there as well. ChadAnderson.info. You set up a call, a meeting. It's all right there on the website, but would love to help if you guys are looking for anything, or even just you want to talk, pick my brain, ask questions, something like that. It's all good.
Yeah. If you're looking for a mortgage, he's the guy. Got me into my house and studio. So, man, appreciate that. All right. Any final thoughts before we pack it up for tonight and get ready for tomorrow? Big day tomorrow. We'll have Tom Abraham on. We'll drop that. Andrew Bone from On 3 and Bama Online to talk some recruiting. We'll have our segment where we pick games. Jake Coker, I think I'm going to do a show with Jake Coker for Friday. So we got some stuff coming up.
It's going to be fun, man. It's one of those weeks. It's like bittersweet because you play the whole season to get to this point, to have a shot at a championship, the 30th possible in Bama history. But at the same time, it's bittersweet because we're in a spot where, hey, this is the end, for a month anyway. And that's the part that sucks. Not the end for the year, but it's the end for a month. And I don't know what I'm going to do with myself for the next 3.5, 4 weeks. So, that's the good and the bad, but it's going to be a fun, hell of a weekend. I can't wait.
Let's make a lot of noise and put pressure on that committee that if Alabama wins, that they're one of the 4 teams that gets into the college football playoff. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys, and Roll Tide.